Hi guys, Mitch here from MJB Seminars, where you liberate, empower and inspire yourself to be the greatest example of your creation. Now, I want to talk this week about what we suppress must be expressed. And I want to start by saying to you, have you ever noticed that sometimes the individual areas of our lives actually compete with one another? And here's what I mean by that. Have you ever noticed that your social life competes with your financial life, and your financial life competes with your family life? And the way in which we know that we're out of balance in life is when we are basically, the individual areas of our lives seem to be competing with one another. Now, the reason an area of your life, or the reason the areas of our lives get thrown out of balance or out of sync with one another, is generally because in one or many of those areas of our lives, we're suppressing certain things. So for example, let's say you have a partner. This is how it works for me. If I find in my life that there's something I want to say to my wife and I suppress it, and suddenly we end up blowing up, because what you suppress must be expressed, and we end up having an argument, and we end up getting really angry with each other. We have an argument, and then in order to dissipate the argument, we have to agree to disagree. What happens then is that when we agree to disagree, we tend to suppress something and not express it and say what we're really feeling within our hearts. And ultimately, the ultimate quest whenever we're arguing with our partner is to reach a point of evolution where we're sharing that we love one another and we really care about one another and we mean a lot to one another. So that's what we're avoiding, and that's why we suppress things anyway. But you cannot suppress in an area of your life without it affecting every other area of your life. And so it's a bit like this. If you come along and you feel depressed and you start to take antidepressants, and I've nothing against doing any of those things, especially when it comes to being in the medical fraternity is saying, look, you got to the quickest way to sort your head out is to take antidepressants. But the point about it is that when we suppress for example an area of our life that we're not happy with an antidepressant, what occurs is that you can't suppress anger, or you can't suppress depression without also suppressing every other emotion. So you can't suppress depression without also suppressing joy and love and care and empathy and compassion and understanding. In actual fact, when we suppress one area of our life, it affects every area of our lives. But that also works the other way around. That when we stop and we evolve an area of our lives, like when we evolve the relationship between ourselves and our partners, it evolves our financial life, our social life, our family life. Everything is affected by this. So when we stop and we say, okay, what is the greatest outcome I can have from an argument with my partner? And we really focus on what we want to feel in terms of that outcome. And we reach that outcome in terms of our conversation with our partner, it affects every single area of our lives. So if you want to evolve your life, pick an area that you're suppressing stuff and stop and ask yourself, what is the greatest outcome I can have with this area? And focus and hone your focus on getting that outcome. And when you do this, it affects every single area of your life. Now, a great example of this is sometimes people want to focus on their finances and they don't realize that, they're actually avoiding the area that they need to focus on. So what used to happen for me is that if I was fighting with my wife, I'd just throw myself into work and I'd just work my ass off and I'd try to earn money over here, and then I'd be focusing on money, when the area that really needed all the attention was my relationship. And when I stopped and I understood this, and I would take my attention to my relationship and become closer with Angela, then it tended to become an easier ride with my job and with my finances and everything else. So they're all intrinsically intertwined with one another. The point about it here is that the qualities and attributes that you have to summon to sort out your relationship are also the same qualities and attributes that you're going to need in order to sort out your job or your finances or your social life. They're all intrinsically intertwined. You can't suppress in one area without suppressing every other area. So it's better to be evolving your mind and getting yourself to sort out the areas that you're struggling in the most. So in this week's comment section, guys, I want you to do something for me. I want you to tell me an area that you've obviously been struggling in, but I want you to look for the primary source of the area. So I want you to look in a separate area and see if you can see the one that you've been suppressing. And let's see if we can help you to bridge the gap between those 2 points, or let's see if we can shed some light there to be able to show you what it is you need to do to evolve that particular area. Cool? Now, if you know anybody, a couple of eagles that are sitting in a nest that are struggling with one another, please feel free to share this link. Please feel free to share it on Facebook, tweet it, or flick it forward in some way whatsoever. Don't forget to drop your information into the comment section, guys. And remember, guys, love is all there is. Love is the only way. Live your life inspired. Take care. Bye-bye.